We are ready to start if you are, Dan.
That sounds great. Thank you, Erin. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I am attempting to share a screen and it's unavailable to me. So if you can allow me either as a co-host or host. See if it's sweet. That's perfect. Thank you. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. As members of the West Chamber, we're excited to have you here today. I think our relationship goes back numbers of years, not only as a firm, but also regarding Jansen and his leadership through the West Chamber and EDC, going back to the Colorado Secure Savings Program. So today is really more about helping you as business owners to have a better understanding of what I've defined as the retirement journey, the retirement plan journey. And it is it's kind of a spectrum of helping people to understand more about what is now a requirement through the state of Colorado. And then more importantly, how do you internalize that and maximize it for the growth and the rewards for your company is the piece that we're here to help address today. All companies are in a variety of different places. And I think that the premise of what Colorado is taking on, I think is very relevant in that we recognize as financial advisors that a lot of folks in the community don't know where to get started when it comes to retirement savings, right? And really a lot of our foundation is in regards to financial well-being. We believe holistically that the best place to do that is in the workplace, right? It's where our paychecks are, our health benefits are, our income, all of the financial decisions are being made there. And so I think as we work with business owners and nonprofit organizations in the community in that manner, I do believe that the premise of the Colorado State Secure Savings Program, their intentions are in the right place. And that is to help encourage retirement savings, setting aside dollars for some time in the future when we're going to need it, right? And there will be time either work, choose not to work. Either way, one of them is going to happen. We have a lot of employees in the community and individuals that just don't know where to get started. So again, I want to just help to support the foundation of what Colorado is stepping forward to help implement. And then what I'm going to do is walk you through a couple of the details high level today. And that, if you have questions on more, for more information, you can reach out to myself, our team, or even really your financial advisor to help clarify what's right for you. So I'm going to start with the Colorado Secure Savings Program, what it is, how to get involved in that manner, some of the restrictions and limitations and opportunities that are going to be presented. We're also going to talk about the next step up, kind of in a manner, is the Simple IRA, which is another retirement plan vehicle. And then the third would be a 401k, where kind of you have these levels of enhanced benefits that may be a consideration for various reasons. So I would encourage you to have a piece of paper with you and a pen, because I think you're going to gather about 3 to 4 different talking points on each one that you're not going to get quizzed on, but at least your awareness around what you need to know to make the right decision for yourself will be present for you. So if you have questions, again, this will probably be about a 25 to 30-minute conversation, but load them up in the chat and I'll do the best I can to address them with you. One moment. So here is there's a Colorado Secure Savings Program. Again, I'm looking at a second screen, so as I glance away, just letting you know, what is it all about? It obviously is creating an opportunity. I guess I have an attitude that says, if you don't have a retirement plan, then the state has made one available to you. And the question then becomes, and we've seen this with healthcare and everything else, that says whether or not it definitely is functional. It definitely will create the opportunity for any individual to be able to save. The question is that for your benefits of you as a business owner and an employer, is it right for you? So what are some of the high level takeaways for this? One is, we already know that it's going to give you and your employees an opportunity to save. It is going to be what's called a Roth IRA. Roth is after tax and grows tax deferred and is tax free for the purpose of retirement. So from a payroll perspective, you have 2 different types of savings vehicles. One is called pre-tax, where an individual you've earned $10,000 and you move $1,000 into your retirement plan. And historically, that is moved into what we call pre-tax. And so what that does is it lowers your taxable income in the current year to $9,000. And then that money grows tax deferred, meaning that the growth on it is not taxed until when? And that is when you take it out, right? And there's some pieces to that. So the power of that is you're getting a tax deduction today, and then we'll be deferring those taxes until retirement or sometime in the future when you go to take the money out. Then you have the Roth, ROTH. The Roth funding is done after tax. So you're going to have your payroll, your $10,000 of income. You're still going to move $1,000 over, but you don't get a tax deduction in the current year. You're paying taxes in the current year. And in that manner, then it grows tax deferred. And now those gains are also what's called tax free. So now when I go into retirement, I can have tax free buckets of money. And so as fiduciary advisors, we help our clients to know that we want to have two bags of money when we get to retirement. And the idea is one's going to be taxable by the IRS pre-tax, and one's going to be tax free, so that when we get to be 75 years old and I'm pulling money out and tax brackets are being amended outside of my control, now I have choices. And so we advocate for just being aware of what's important to you. So the Colorado Secure Savings Program is a Roth, which is important to know. It's after tax, will grow tax deferred and tax free. And that's number one. Number two, how much can we put into the Roth, right? So there are some levels of limitations on this. Because it's an individual retirement account, it'll allow you to be able to put up to $6,500 a year, $7,000 if you're over 50 as I am. But there's going to be an income, a capacity that's going to be a limiting factor, or maybe a limiting factor. For many, it might be just the perfect place to start. The third consideration may be investment choices. The investment choices have been defined. They're not overly dynamic, but they're very good companies and organizations that will help to fund through index funds. I don't believe there's any mutual funds that are available for active management, but a nice, reasonable, diversified fund lineup, offering target date funds, and then also a handful of various other index funds for your choices. Again, in a lot of ways, it's a very functional and a great place to get started. Some of the pieces that's on your screen, no cost to the employers, right? Like, that's a big deal, right? So there's going to be fees based on the investment choices that are invested, and that will be covered by the participant. Your requirement is going to be that you're going to retain the funds from payroll and then send them off to the state for the benefit of your employee. Your employees may be able to opt out of the program, so they're going to have some control over that, but they're obviously going to be encouraged to participate. So I feel like that, employees are automatically enrolled via their employer, again, as they can choose to opt out. Contribution rates will be automatic. I believe they're setting up at about 5%. And you'll have different investment choices. And again, the employee as a participant, this goes for any of the participants, you'll have control over it. The question then becomes, can I save enough? Do I need tax deductions today? Is a pre-tax solution important to me? And or, do I have a diverse investment lineup that I want to have complement either other options as well? So hopefully this helps as an overview. Okay, I'm going to peek at the chat. But is only employees that live in Colorado? Yes. A few out-of-state remote employees. That's a great question. So I apologize. I'm reading this. I'm sure that you'll get this, but is it only for employees that live in Colorado versus if your business is domiciled here? Do employees outside of the state? I don't know the answer. I'll have to follow up with you on that. I'm not here to presume, but my belief is that it's only going to be for state of Colorado residents. But if your business is not domiciled here, how can they cross the state line? So it's probably just for our residents. but I'm being genuine. I don't know, and I'll help to find out. All mutual funds or no mutual funds? I believe they're all index funds. So they're going to be a lower cost model of passive investments in that way. So at the risk of a definition, a mutual fund is actively managed. Someone is sitting behind the screen deciding to buy Apple and sell Tesla today. And if I'm investing in the United States in the S&P 500, or if I'm expanding my my piece out to international, I have control over that. So a mutual fund is actively managed. An index fund, like the S&P 500, is considered to be passive, right? There's 500 giant companies, although please consider that a lot of those companies don't turn over every year. There might be 4 or 8 of them in a given year. And so it's more a buy and hold. And again, we advocate for both in investment strategies. 3 years or Roth investment options. Blake, I think more of this is just more conversation. So again, I think it's so, investment choice, how much we can put in to it is 6,500. It's after tax and a Roth, and then the investment choice is just kind of being aware that they're somewhat limited, right? The investment choices inside the estate plan are functional, but not quite as dynamic in that manner. So that's step number 1. Know that you have to take an action. I believe we got dates coming up here in June where, again, if they're going to start rolling this out, but start looking at, make sure that every business that has been in business for more than 2 years and has more than 5 employees, including part-time, that need to be able to participate into the plan. The next step up in this journey, and by the way, again, this is the work that we do. So the conversation I'm having is if I was sitting with an individual at, as a client, but the next one would be what's called a simple IRA. And in fact, I'm going to share this with you. There's a document here that's available through the IRS, but it helps to identify what are some of these investment choices. And it gives you this idea, right? So a lot of business owners have never been forced to look at this. They've done their own savings and planning, but now as a business owner. So there is a nice IRS program that talks about, IRA based plans and then, defined contribution plans. And I'll just find this for you. So the next one I'm going to talk about is called a simple IRA. A simple IRA, I'm sharing this with you with a company called American Funds. It's one of the largest mutual fund companies. I'm not here to make any product recommendations or anything that can be misconstrued in this, but a mutual fund company is going to be where you're going to host typically what's called a simple IRA. The advantages for a simple IRA for a business owner is, that you really want to have some skin in the game. We have a lot of our business owners that we work with, including each of you that are on here today, that really want to reward your employees. You're looking to attract employees. You're looking to retain your employees. And we know that for us to be competitive in the marketplace, there is more that we as business owners have to give back. Well, one of those ways through a simple IRA is the consideration of what's called a match. And the match is the matching funds. So this is where I would encourage you to have a piece of paper. Again, these things are ideas that come to mind, and I'm going to share with you without a full formal structure. But number 1 is a simple IRA is going to be pre-tax. So going back to that original definition, it's going to be tax deductible in my current year for any contribution I make into the simple IRA as a participant, just so you know. So it's a pre-tax plan only. Secure 2.0, which came out in December, is intended that the organizations will add Roth solutions coming in 2024. That has not happened yet. So right now, definition is it is a pre-tax asset only. It allows you to be able to contribute up to $15,500 a year and up to $19,000 if you're over 50, as I am. So in comparison to the state plan, it's going to give you an opportunity to be able to contribute more and save more as a participant. It allows you to match. So with the state plan, there is no match. There's no cost to you as an employer. There's no expectation of match, but also you're not having any skin in the game. You're not giving a benefit to your employees. And as an employer, you may not be getting the advantage yourself that you want to be able to match from your own profit or cash flow. So the matching on a simple IRA is 3%. There's two different ways you can do it. You can have, we have several of our companies that do what's called a non-elective, where they just give 2% to every employee, whether they put money in or not, period. And that is one choice that generous employers will take. The second is they'll do dollar for dollar match up to 3% of their pay. So if I put in 3% of my pay, the employer is going to match 3%. The simple IRA, that matches 100% of the employees from day one. There is no vesting schedule. So in years past, again, definition for you, vesting. Oftentimes we hear vesting as being 20% a year for a 5-year or a 6-year period of time. So it encourages the employee to stay longer, right? And you have this retention tool. With the simple IRA, that dollar amount, the matching funds is 100% theirs from day one, right? So it's, again, another level of generosity on behalf of the employer to the employee. With that, you can lower your matching contributions to 2% or 1% in any 2 years out of 5. So we do have, so every year in November, we identify for the next calendar year with our clients, are you going to maintain the match at 3%? Are you going to lower it to 2 or 1? There is an allowance that you can lower it for any 2 out of 5 years if you choose. Otherwise, I believe that my attitude is expect 3%. So do the math, right? Understand what your payroll is, and then do a math of 3%, and that's going to be your cost. There are no overhead fees on a simple IRA, right? So it's not something that you're paying up front. Your cost is going to be your 3% match as far as the expense to the company. That is a tax deductible expense, right? Because it's payroll going out. The fees on a simple IRA, I'm going to tell you for generic purposes, is approximately 1% per year. And it can go up to about 1.1, and that's paid for by the participant. So the employer side, you get more capacity, you get some matching, you get to benefit in that matching as well. And then the fees are paid to the participant to whatever level that is. And it's approximately 1 to 1.2% per year. And that is dependent upon what investment choice that you have in that plan. So everyone is in control. If you typically have a more conservative investment choice, typically the fees on that may be lower than a more aggressive fund that is looking for investment into stocks and international and et cetera. So again, if you want more information, we're happy to share it. But just I'm trying to give you some talking points along the way. American funds we do a lot with. The employer has a platform that allows you to be able to push the money in and acknowledge that a participant A, B, and C has identified percentages of pay, and it's calculated and it pushes out. It's very slick, very user friendly. One of the other things too, I think that's really cool about a simple IRA is that the employee, it's already in the employee's name. So when I go to leave my employer, I get to take my money with me, right? And it's already in my name. So there's no separation paperwork on behalf of you as an employer, which can be an advantage, right? And it's not negative. It's just more that it's already at the control of the participant. They get to control their investments. The only thing that you're really doing is helping to fund it and then contribute generously to the match. So I hope this helps. Some of the benefits of the simple IRA is that it's working through a mutual fund company. You're going to have more diverse investment choices. And again, we're not overstating what American Funds does. Fidelity, Schwab, there's a variety of them that can be the host, but you're going to have a more diverse investment selection than you will have at the state plan. So I hope that helps. This again, some of the different pieces. This is a plan sponsor summary, is what this is all about. It's just kind of more sharing talking points to help help me bring up those details. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, it talks about some of the different matching and contributions. The last I'm going to talk about, and let me open it up, and is the 401k. So as we go down this journey, we have business owners that need more, right? So every one of these steps has been something that's a little bit more expansive, and so the next one is really going to be, hold on, I apologize. I need to make sure I'm on the right screen. The next is going to be on the 401k. So with a 401k, you're now dealing with an ERISA plan, in just an enhancement of different choices and options. It's more robust. For a growing company with more employees, even an owner that wants to contribute and save more, there's a variety of these different talking points that I'm going through. So a 401k is going to allow, from a contribution standpoint, pre-tax or Roth, right? It's going to give you and the participants a choice. It's going to, when we talk about contributions, you can put in up to $22,500 annually as an employee. And if you're over 50, as I am, you can put in up to $30,000, right? So it's more. Investment choices are going to be much more diverse. You're going to have active management with mutual funds. You're going to have a diverse lineup of what are called target date funds. And then you're also going to have a selection of what are called index funds. So we've explained some of these throughout today, but you're going to have a little bit more diversification of that. And it's going to be, depending on the opportunity, you're just going to have this more dynamic piece, so that when you have a company where you have more sophisticated investors, there's dollars that you're going to want something that's more dynamic, right? And that's where the 401k is, this enhanced vehicle. There is overhead. There's a cost to having this. In a lot of ways, we're going to walk through this with you too, but in a lot of ways, you're looking at about $3,000 a year. I'm not telling you that's a good number or a bad number. There are different ways that this gets priced out, but if I was going to give you a bullet point today, know that there's a cost. And that cost is for these enhanced benefits, no matter what your participation rate is. The employer may, pay for all of those fees, or you can help contribute or shift some of those to the participant. And again, that's something during what we call plan design. You have a little bit more control over what we call eligibility. The right of, are we going to do it at age 18, versus 21? Can they contribute right away? When does matching start? So let's talk a little bit about matching inside of a 401k. Matching inside of a 401k is the idea that I have what's called a discretionary plan, where I, as the business owner, may retain discretion whether or not I give a match or not. And when we have discretion, it also has what's called a vesting schedule that can go along with that. Then there's various ones. I'll keep it at that. You're not committed at that point to make a match. It's on your discretion. So the question then becomes, when, do I want to give a match? Do I want a reward, et cetera? The second thing that's important on a 401k is there is what's called a safe harbor plan. And a safe harbor plan kind of puts a little bubble wrap around your contributions. So because these are Department of Labor managed and ERISA plan managed, we want to help make sure that the frontline employee also has the same benefits that are accessible to what we call highly compensated employees. Highly compensated are ones that earn over $135,000 a year and or are 5% owners of a company. And what they do is they say that in a discretionary plan, the highly compensated that I just defined may not contribute more than 2% of the average of your employees. So if everyone's doing 5%, then as an owner, I can do 7%. Now, whether or not 7% meets your financial goals, right? 7% on, X amount is 7%, but maybe I want to be able to save more. And when that happens, you look at what's called the safe harbor plan. The safe
I
harbor,
believe so.
the safe harbor plan helps to identify sorry, I'm trying to, I don't know where I lost my cursor on this. So on the safe harbor
I
plan,
remember I had a bunch of people.
the matching funds right away. They are 100% vested.
I think one of them dropped out.
Hey, Samantha, if you can
Probably
go on
just an
mute.
invoice.
I apologize. I'm not getting my cursor over to help. Samantha, if you can go on mute, that would be helpful. Thanks. So with the safe harbor plan, you are giving a more generous match. There's an equation that typically there's a couple equations, but the most typical is one that's dollar for dollar up to 3% of your pay, and then 50 cents on the dollar up to for the next 2%. So if I give 5% as a participant, I'm going to get a 4% match. By doing that, and it's also 100% vested, there is no vesting schedule. So again, it's a more generous plan. But what that does is it now allows the plan sponsor to not be restricted on how much the plan sponsor or the highly compensated individuals want to contribute. They can go up to the max if they're capable or if they desire, right? So safe harbor is something to consider. You can also then kick out and control or influence that maybe that match isn't going to start until the 12 months, right? So after a person has worked for you for 12 months, that is when you can put a little bit more plan design into that. So the 401k, again, is going to be a more enhanced vehicle, give you a little bit more control in that way. The question is, which one's right for you? So let me just walk you back through to those are the structures of the 401k. In partnership with the West Chamber, we go back to our conversations with Jansen and the EDC and his involvement with the lobby of the state legislature last summer when this was coming together. And we recognize that a lot of the business owners aren't aware of what these options and choices are. And he wanted to help make one available to the members, right? To enhance membership on Aaron's side and for the chamber members, allow me to be part of a bundled solution that can help allow me to have access to a 401k, potentially reduce fees and expressions so that not as an individual company, right? 10 companies coming in with 10 or 20 employees has to pay all these excessive pieces, but maybe we can bundle a solution that can be enhanced to offer 401ks, have some customization, and effectively reduce fees by bundling assets and asset management. And so in partnership with the West Chamber, we're offering a solution that we'll walk through right now. So this, again, I'm going to go through, I shared with you the nuts and bolts of this, but we're happy to, go to whatever level of detail we can with you as well. The pool, it's called a multiple employer plan. You have a financial advisor. You have access through your advisor to plug into the West Chamber plan, right? This is not specifically through High Point, although this is a business model that we work very closely with and we do a lot of education. But again, this is not a proprietary solution. I want to share that. When you get into the 401k, there's a variety of fiduciary responsibilities that you carry as the plan sponsor, right? There's bonding to be able to make sure that you cover your errors and omissions. You are responsible for the fund lineup, right? How do you pick the investment choices that are available and make sure that the plan meets various ERISA guidelines and Department of Labor guidelines for a group plan. And so there is what we call, and I'm, I don't know if it's not letting me, but the fiduciary support is that you're outsourcing some of that, right? You no longer have to sign the 5,500 that has to be filed to the IRS every year. We're outsourcing that. And as part of this bundled solution, you're getting these efficiencies of scale. by plugging into the West Chamber solution. Tag Resources is the back office. They help to support the administration. They will send the emails with when it's time for me to enroll as a new employee. I will be notified at 90 days that I'm now eligible, right, to be able to participate. The links to the emails, the notifications of fee summaries, just the variety of pieces. Tag Resources has been doing this for years and has built out this model as the administrator of the plan. This helps to talk a little bit about, again, it's easy for me, my cursor, I guess, will work, but the 316 plan administrator and their fiduciary role, they take that on. The record keeper, which is going to be the host of the funds, is Transamerica. The financial advisors, it would, could be us, could be one that you're working with already. There's going to be what's called a third-party administrator, which helps with the legal documentation, helping to identify really what we call that plan design that I've alluded to. The investment manager is a 338. These are IRS code that identifies who's responsible to pick up which investment choices are appropriate for us. Like, how do we weed out the 8,000 that are available and make a lineup that is appropriate? There's auditors that are involved. A fidelity bond, again, we just kind of talk about is a little more like errors and omissions a piece. So there are, when you get into having 401ks, again, they are enhanced solutions. With the 338, we've just kind of walked through some of these different definitions, and the advisor. And I think, there are a lot of plug and play solutions out there. The question is, how are we serving the employee to know what's right for them? And we as business owners to help serve them. And oftentimes an 800 number isn't enough, right? And that's where, having financial wellness, financial education in the workplace, having annual meetings with your employees and really supporting engagement, right? Supporting retention, right? Because now they're really, you've got sticky benefits. Advisors' roles, right? Some of the things I'm just sharing with you, but it's really more in employee investment education and talking about pre-tax versus Roth and investment choices. We're not, as business owners and HR directors, we're not designed for that, right? The administrative responsibilities, right? This goes back to, communication, fee summaries, administration, email, terminated employees, right? We have plans where we're actively attempting that employees that have left the company or have been let go need to take their money with them, right? How do we help them with those processes? So this helps to focus on a lot of those pieces of the administrative benefits of the platform. So again, our record keeping system, this is where, again, from a talking standpoint, flexible plans. So as much as we're building up a West Chamber platform, each employer gets to customize what's right for you, right? And, in eligibility dates, matching. So there is levels of customization that are available to you as well. Payroll integration. This is a big piece. I know I've got some payroll folks that are on today. Payroll integration is, how do we integrate the 401k or the simple IRA with payroll so that the information is communicated effectively regarding hire dates, social security number, address, et cetera, that it communicates with the record keeper, right? And then back, Susie signed in. She wants to do 3% pre-tax, 3% Roth, and that the information comes back to the payroll provider to be able to implement that, right? So these are areas where we walk clients through, what's important to you, and then integration. The pooled pricing, we've talked a little bit about this, but really more as an enhanced, streamlined, advantage for being involved. The pricing is 65 basis points. So a basis point is a percentage of 1%. So, 65 basis points is 0.65 of 1%. So on $100,000, 1% is 1,000. You're looking at $650 a year, which is affordable. This covers the administrative functions that we just walked through. There are some annual fees and expenses, $100 flat fee for the bond, per participant charges. This is a lot of times the administrative piece of sending out statements and sending out statements and keeping in touch with employees. But and then there's if you've got 20 employees, it'll be different, but it's a per participant fee. There's a one-time installation fee, right? To set up the plan document. There's hours that are put in there. And then there's administrative fee. So as you, from a safe harbor standpoint, if you're under $250,000, there's going to be $1,000 fee. So when I talk to you about, hey, $3,000, well, origination fee is one, then you're going to have an annual fee that is reducing, right? And so as assets grow, as your enrollment or engagement increases, what this does not represent, I don't know if it's on this next one. Well, here is just, again, a reduction. So this is the advantage of being together with the chamber. What is not listed on here is advisor fee. So we charge 50 basis points, 0.5 of 1% for our administration, our active management with your employees, financial education throughout the year. And then we'll also charge a flat fee to help get it started, right? Because 50 basis points on zero is still zero, right? So a lot of times that's where the one-time installation fee, and then we'll work with the client on a flat fee just to be able to respect our time and effort and the consultation that we do to get the plan started going forward in that way. And then 3 things to remember: simplicity, right? So you're outsourcing this for a lot of the administrative. The same thing with the fiduciary. As plan owners, we do carry a lot of those responsibilities, right? To stamp it and make sure that it meets all the goals and objectives for Department of Labor and ERISA, and et cetera. All of that is outsourced, and that is a level of protection for you. And then economies of scale and pricing, which are all things that we've talked about. So, I think that's what I have for today. I think the intent is this, right? On behalf of the chamber and our relationship with each one of you here today is to be educational, helping you to know that, if the estate plan is right for you to get started, you can do that today, right? And it's awesome. And there's no cost, and you're helping your frontline employee and every employee to be able to have a solution for retirement that may not be obvious to you today, and like where to get started. So we do believe that the estate plan can be a great solution for a lot of growing companies that just need to take a step into that world. Your decision really becomes, is it enough? I don't have any retention. I want to be able to contribute and save more, whether it's about you or maybe some of your key employees want that. And so then that's where a simple IRA may be a good solution for you to enhance that, still keep your costs low, but now you're turning those costs into contributions through the matching. And then the last piece would be the 401k, where you have a more enhanced benefit, some levels of customization, partnership with the West Chamber for the benefit of scaling, and having fiduciary advisors really look out for your best interest. And so our journey for our folks is really just taking you through that conversation and helping you to decide what's right for you. So happy to address any questions that I can today. I'll give you as much detail as we can, and we certainly want to thank you for attending. And if you have any comments or feedback, share it with Aaron and I. So we'll continue to open this up.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dan. Yeah, anyone, if you do have a question, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask away. Not one. Well, Dan, so the dates, I know maybe not everyone understands the time frame of this. Can you kind of go over that?
That's great. I don't have the dates in front of me, Aaron.
Oh, okay.
I want to apologize to you for that.
No,
I think they're coming up here in June.
So I've actually got the sheet from you. So May 15th, March 15th was the employers with 50 plus employees. May 15 is employers with 15 to 49 employees, and June 30 is employers with 5 to 14 employees. So what if there's a big employer, 50 plus, and they've missed that deadline, what happens, or what are some of the penalties, or what happens then?
I think there's going to be a little bit of leeway as they step into this. There were emails, there were mailings that were sent out with PIN numbers that they have to go into the Colorado State plan, plug their number in, whether or not they have a plan already, right? So if you already have a simple IRA, maybe you're in today because you already have a 401k and want to know what the offer is to your as a chamber member, you definitely can transition. But your first piece was just acknowledging. I think that there's going to be some gray areas. We're working closely with Hunter Rayleigh, who's the state director, but there will be penalties, and they're probably not going to tighten it up until later this year, but don't quote me on that. But I don't know the dollar. What I will tell you is we're here to help. I don't know all those levels of detail, the fees, penalties, things like that. Reach out to your financial advisor, reach out to us. We will help you to navigate what's right. And I would imagine that asking for forgiveness, if you haven't taken action, they're going to be pretty reasonable in that way. I do want to respect too. Hunter Rayleigh was at our event with the chamber back in February. We're working closely with him in person, helping to get this story out. We feel like retirement readiness is a community issue, and we're really working closely in that way. But I apologize for not knowing all those details.
Great. Any questions? I will say you hinted at something else. So even if people have their own plan, if employers have their own plan, they still have to do a step with the state plan?
Yes.
Okay.
So the state had sent you a PIN, and it allows you to get into the site. And if you have a simple IRA, maybe even a SEP, we didn't go much into that, or 401k, you can go into the website and just acknowledge, hey, raise my hand, I already have one. That's all that they want to know. And so it is simple in that manner to be able to recognize that you already have a retirement plan in place. So, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's some other talks. Okay, so what are the next steps? So just to be able to be respectful of your time today and your attendance, know what you have, identify what's important to you, and think about it there's two different frameworks. One is, what are we trying to do for our employees to attract and retain our employees? That's number one. Right. And then number two is, what about you, right? As a business owner, is the capacity of the state plan or the capacity of your current plan enough for you to meet your goals and objectives? Whether it's simple IRA, for tax benefits today, savings for tomorrow, or that you want the Roth options for various reasons. There are also things called profit sharing and cash balance plans, and that's what 401ks do. But you really just need to sit back and be able to reflect on what is most important to you. Where are your goals and objectives? When you identify that, reach out to the chamber, reach out to your financial advisor, reach out to our firm. We certainly, as a team, we're here to serve. We'll help answer questions as we have today to give you the explanations that you need to do what's right for you. And we'll help you navigate that. But I think that's really what today is about, is to be educational and help. And hopefully you got nuggets that you may not have known about today. And hopefully in a manner that was delivered that you were able to, understand these distinctions. So thank you. I'll stick around. If you have any questions, please let us know. I will work with Aaron on getting some of these documents back out to you, and any clarifying questions along with our contact if you're interested. So, awesome.
Great.
Thank you all.
Last call for questions. Anything? All right. Well, Dan, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And yes, we will connect. We'll get all that stuff and we'll get it out to everyone who registered.
Sounds awesome. Thank you for hosting today, Aaron, and having us on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank
Thanks.
you all for being here.